When he saw Tuoshe, ancient god, who had disappeared from the Doqi continent for tens of thousands of years, Xiao Yan's face was instantly filled with shock. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. Continuing from the previous chapter, after helping Xiao Yan stabilize the raging power within his body and gradually recover his strength, the great elder slowly withdrew his hand. The turbulent spiritual energy around them calmed, but the atmosphere in the sky remained tense. His aged yet piercing gaze shifted toward Elder Tianxing in the distance. At the same time, Tongdan, who had just broken free from the confinement of heaven and earth, did not dare delay for even a moment. He transformed into a streak of light and hurried to Elder Tianxing's side, quickly recounting everything that had transpired, every clash, every intention, every hidden motive. When Elder Tianxing learned that Mu Hengtian and Zhuang Yuanzi had struck first and that they had indeed harbored designs on the heart of the primordial divine vein, his expression turned solemn. However, after a brief silence, he merely nodded. This matter, he said calmly, I shall no longer interfere in. It will be left entirely to the great elder. His decision was not without reason. The forces standing behind Mu Hengtian and Zhuang Yuanzi were far from weak. In the vast expanse of the Great Thousand World, they could still be considered influential powers. Pushing the matter too far would only create unnecessary waves. The great elder naturally understood this as well. He did not unleash overwhelming suppression, nor did he seek harsh punishment. Instead, his voice echoed across the sky with quiet authority. I require only one thing from the two of you. The request was simple in words but heavy in meaning. They were to travel to several lower plane realms that had recently suffered brutal invasions from the extraterrestrial evil races, cleansing the lands of lurking evil and restoring order. For ordinary experts, such a mission would be perilous. But for two Heaven Supremes, it was nothing more than a patrol across the lower planes. The moment they realized that this task would erase their wrongdoing and close the matter, Mu Hengtian and Zhuang Yuanzi did not hesitate. They immediately agreed. Their relief was evident. In the distance, Elder Tianxing watched the scene unfold and allowed a faint smile to appear. He understood perfectly. This was the great elder's method. By dispatching two Heaven Supremes to purge evil across the lower plane realms, he achieved multiple goals at once, preserving two peak experts for the Great Thousand World, while simultaneously striking back against the extraterrestrial evil races. A punishment, that was also a contribution. A resolution, that strengthened the greater war. Without another word, Elder Tianxing turned and departed with Tongdan and Yan Yao, heading toward the distant ancient heaven-connecting Python tribe. As their figures vanished beyond the horizon, the oppressive tension lingering in the sky finally began to fade. He Yuanyun stepped forward, cupped his fists respectfully toward the great elder, and said with sincerity, regarding today's events, "Many thanks, great elder." The great elder glanced at him, eyes narrowing slightly. "You brat," he snorted. "When we return to the clan, we'll settle this properly." Before He Yuanyun could react, the great elder lifted his hand and lightly knocked him on the head. The gesture was casual, but everyone present understood. Behind that light knock lay both reprimand and protection. Immediately afterward, the great elder shifted his attention toward Wu Wanlong and Xia Tianqing, who stood not far away. His gaze was calm, yet it carried the unmistakable weight of gratitude. "Today," he said slowly, his voice resonating across the sky, "it is thanks to the two of you that our clan's holy son was able to remain unharmed. This favor will not be forgotten." He paused briefly before continuing. "There are many complicated matters within the clan that require my immediate attention. I cannot remain here for long. These 2 volumes of heavenly divine arts shall serve as a small token of appreciation." As his sleeve flicked lightly, 2 ancient scrolls radiating faint divine light drifted forward. Even before taking them, Wu Wanlong and Xia Tianqing could sense the profound fluctuations emanating from within. The aura of the techniques was deep and vast, clearly no ordinary cultivation art. The two men did not dare show neglect. They stepped forward, accepted the scrolls respectfully, and cupped their fists. "Many thanks, Great Elder." The Great Elder gave a slight nod. "Oh, right." As if recalling something important, his expression shifted subtly. His gaze slowly moved past the two of them and settled upon Xiao Yan, who was still unconscious in the distance. Within his palm space rippled faintly. A black jade slip, only a few inches in length, quietly emerged. Though small in size, it emitted a restrained yet ancient aura, as if countless secrets were sealed within it. With a simple flick of his finger, the jade slip transformed into a streak of black light and shot toward Wu Wanlong. "When that boy awakens," the Great Elder said calmly, "give this to him. It may prove useful." Wu Wanlong reached out and caught the jade slip without hesitation. The moment it touched his palm, he felt a faint chill seep into his meridians. The jade was ordinary in appearance, yet the energy sealed inside was clearly extraordinary. Though he had no idea what it contained, one thing was certain. Anything personally prepared by the Great Elder would not be simple. Before the atmosphere could settle, Yuan suddenly stepped forward from the side. "By the way, I also have something to trouble you with." A mischievous glint flickered in his eyes. With a casual wave of his hand, a radiant nine-colored jade slip appeared in his grasp. Unlike the black jade slip, this one shimmered with layered hues, as though containing the essence of multiple bloodlines intertwined. Without further explanation, he tossed it toward Xiao King. "Please deliver this to Lady Kylin. It will definitely be of use to her." Xiao King caught the jade slip, slightly startled. Lady Kylin, a woman. Before he could say more, the Great Elder's brows furrowed. He turned toward Yuan, suspicion flickering in his eyes. "You brat. What tricks are you playing this time?" His tone carried both curiosity and warning. But Yuan merely smiled, neither confirming nor denying anything. The smile on his face only made the matter seem even more mysterious. But Yuan merely smiled, offering no explanation. There was a trace of secrecy in that smile, almost as if he were laying the groundwork for something yet to unfold. The Great Elder gave him a long look, but did not press further. In the next instant, space rippled faintly around the two of them. Their figures blurred, then vanished directly between heaven and earth, leaving behind only the lingering pressure of their immense cultivation. With the departure of those towering figures, the storm that had shaken the skies finally came to an end. Later, Xiao Yan was escorted back to the Myriad Phenomena Heavenly Palace by Wu Wanlong and Xiao King. However, not long after returning, Wu Wanlong received a summons from the Hall Master of the Western Heaven Hall. The matter seemed urgent, and even someone of his status could not delay. Before departing, he stood silently beside Xiao Yan for a moment. Then, just as the Great Elder of the ancient heaven-connecting Python tribe had done, Wu Wanlong left behind a jade slip of his own. He placed it carefully aside, his expression thoughtful. "This boy," he muttered faintly, "may walk a path none of us can predict." With that, he turned and left in a streak of light. Time flowed quietly. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. Throughout those 10 days, the Myriad Phenomena Heavenly Palace remained peaceful. No one dared disturb the area Xiao Yan occupied. Deep within the Myriad Phenomena Heaven domain, there lay a vast, boundless lake. The lake stretched endlessly, its surface shimmering with layers of spiritual mist. Waves of rich spiritual energy surged beneath the water like tides, forming visible currents of light. This was one of the regions with the densest spiritual energy in the entire heaven domain. Ordinarily, it was reserved exclusively as the palace master's place of cultivation and recuperation. Yet now it had been completely open to Xiao Yan. At the center of the lake floated enormous lotus leaves, each as large as a small island. Upon one such giant lotus leaf, Xiao Yan sat cross-legged. His eyes were closed. Spiritual light flowed faintly around his body, rising and falling in rhythmic pulses. Occasionally, faint traces of flame flickered beneath his skin before fading again. Then, his eyelids trembled slightly. After 10 days of silence, Xiao Yan slowly opened his eyes. A deep, restrained aura spread outward from him, causing ripples to form across the lake's surface. At that very moment, a sharp sound tore through the air. Kylin's figure swept across the sky like a streak of light. Her movements were graceful, yet swift. In the next breath, she gently landed upon the enormous lotus leaf where Xiao Yan sat. Her violet eyes examined him carefully. "How is it?" she asked softly. "How much have you recovered?" Xiao Yan exhaled slowly. He could clearly feel the difference between this world and the Do-Chi continent. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth in this world, he said calmly, is countless times richer than that of the Do-Chi continent. He lowered his gaze slightly, sensing the incomplete power still resting within him. "But restoring my emperor body and all of my strength, that will likely take several more months." He lifted his hand slightly, and a faint surge of power gathered in his palm before dispersing. "Even with the help of this myriad phenomena, Heavenly Lake, I have only recovered about 30% of my strength." Though the word sounded modest, the aura faintly leaking from him was already far beyond what it had once been. Although he had recovered only 30% of his strength, Xiao Yan could clearly feel the transformation within himself. Even in this incomplete state, he was already far stronger than when he had been a 9th grade supreme. The difference was not merely in power, it was in essence. After a brief silence, Xiao Yan seemed to recall something. "By the way," he said, turning to Kylin, "I heard He Yuan Yun left you a jade slip." Kylin nodded gently. "Yes, the jade slip contains information about the ancient heaven-connecting Python tribe." Her gaze grew slightly distant as she continued. "It suggests that the 9-colored heaven-swallowing python may have once been a bloodline branch left behind by the ancient heaven-connecting python in a lower plane. He Yuan Yun said that if I ever have the opportunity, I should visit their tribe." She paused for a moment. "I might obtain a more powerful bloodline inheritance there." The thought clearly stirred something within her. As she spoke, she seemed to recall something else. With a graceful motion, she extended her jade-like hand and produced a black jade slip. "This was entrusted to me by Senior Xia Tian King for you," she said softly. "The great elder of the ancient heaven-connecting Python tribe specifically asked that it be given to you. He said what's inside would be useful." Xiao Yan accepted it and nodded. There was no hesitation in his movements. With a light flick of his finger, the jade slip rose into the air and slowly unfolded. The surface of the slip shimmered faintly as ancient patterns revealed themselves. Xiao Yan reached out and gently touched it with his fingertip. The moment contact was made, a burst of black light exploded outward. The light instantly enveloped him, swallowing his figure completely. The surrounding lake, the lotus leaf, even Kylin's silhouette, all dissolved into darkness. The scene before his eyes shifted violently. When Xiao Yan regained his senses, he found himself standing within an entirely new world. It was a boundless crimson expanse. The sky was tinted deep red as though forged from molten fire. Endless heat waves shimmered across the horizon. Tens of thousands of colossal continents floated within this vast space. Their arrangement formed a shape that, when viewed from afar, resembled a gigantic flame rising toward the heavens. It was as if the entire world itself were a burning inferno. The vision rapidly zoomed inward. In the next instant, Xiao Yan arrived upon a continent located at the very heart of this flame-shaped world. The land beneath his feet radiated a brilliant, resplendent glow. Flames surged intermittently from cracks in the earth, twisting and dancing like living beings. What shocked him even more was their intensity. The power contained within those flames was not the slightest bit inferior to the heavenly flames within his own body. "This is—" Xiao Yan narrowed his eyes. Suddenly, a pale blue flame flickered into existence not far from him. Its aura pulsed gently in the air. The moment Xiao Yan sensed it, his expression changed. That presence was unmistakable. He had once refined it. He had once controlled it. Without hesitation, he spoke its name. "Sea Heart Flame." The pale blue flame flickered steadily before him. It was none other than the Sea Heart Flame, ranked 14th on the Heavenly Flame ranking of the Do-Chi continent. Xiao Yan's pupils contracted. This was a flame that should only exist in the Do-Chi continent. So how could it possibly appear in this strange crimson world? Before he could fully process the question, a sudden surge of heat erupted behind him. A white-grey flame roared forward like a furious tide, its temperature scorching and violent. Xiao Yan turned sharply and his breath caught. Fallen hot flame. The very flame that once wreaked havoc within the blazing sky Qi refining tower of Jianan Academy. Its aura was unmistakable, and yet it too was here. As if triggered by their presence, the surrounding land began to tremble. One after another flames burst forth from beneath the earth. Golden flames, violet flames, dark crimson infernos, deep green firestorms. They rose like blooming flowers of destruction across the continent. Xiao Yan stood at the center of it all, his expression gradually turning solemn. Many of these flames he had seen before. More than 20 of them belonged to the heavenly flame ranking of the Do-Chi continent. And beyond those were the 4 heavenly flames he had obtained after arriving in the Great Thousand World. They were all here, yet that was not the end. Farther across the vast crimson land, thousands upon thousands of unfamiliar flames flickered into existence. Their auras were strange, some violent, some cold, some ancient, some tyrannical. They did not belong to the heavenly flame ranking. They belonged to the 100 million flame rankings. This was no ordinary flame domain. This was a gathering place of countless flames from different worlds. Xiao Yan's mind raced. Was this continent specially created to raise and nurture flames? Was this an enormous cradle where fire itself was cultivated? Just as the thought formed, a sudden overwhelming pressure descended upon the world. Xiao Yan's expression changed drastically. In the distant heavens, hundreds of thousands of miles away, the sky split open. A massive white pillar of fire erupted upward, piercing through the firmament like a divine spear. Its brilliance illuminated the entire crimson world. The flames around Xiao Yan trembled faintly as if submitting to a higher existence. The colossal fire pillar slowly began to dissipate. Within its fading radiance, a lotus roughly a zhang in size appeared. The lotus glowed pure white, radiating a sacred yet domineering aura. Seated cross-legged upon it was an aged figure clad in dark robes. His hair was pale, his face ancient and composed, yet the aura emanating from him was vast beyond comprehension. Xiao Yan's breathing grew heavy. He focused his vision, amplifying his perception to its limit. When he clearly saw the elderly figure's face, shock exploded across his features. Tuoshe, ancient god, the name burst from his lips uncontrollably, because that figure was exactly the one he had once encountered while receiving the ancient god's inheritance on the Do-Chi continent. The existence born from the fusion of 22 heavenly flames, the supreme flame sovereign of that era. And yet, the Tuoshe ancient god before him was incomparably stronger than the one he had seen in the inheritance illusion. This was not a lingering will, not a projection, not a remnant soul. This presence was real, terrifyingly real. His aura alone surpassed even Wu Wanlong, the great elder of the Western Heaven Hall. In this world of flames, Tuoshe ancient god stood at the absolute pinnacle. That's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.